Facebook family. Hey family. I'm going to give people a few seconds to jump on, and then we are going to talk about business relationships. All right, so for those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Nikki Woods, and I want to welcome you to this discussion that we're going to have about business relationships. I really am committed to helping people walk in their greatness from having the successful mindset needed. Hey, April. Hey, I'm going to talk a lot about you, so I'm glad you're on. And also, I do that through helping people realize their authority. So I was just in Jamaica. I just got back, and I had a really interesting conversation with an entrepreneur there, and we were talking about business relationships. Yeah, I use April a lot in my videos. So I want to talk about that. And so I want to talk about ways to build strong, lasting business relationships. And I also have a free gift for you at the end. But I think that what people don't get about business relationships, especially if you want it to be a win-win, successful, kind of relationship, is that it takes a lot of work. And it takes a lot of sacrifice, and it takes a lot of time, but it is well worth it in the end. So these are just 10 quick tips that I think have helped me. I've built quite a few, I think, very beneficial business relationships, one of which is April, which is why I use her a lot in text messages, which is why I use her a lot in my discussions about business type things. So the first thing is that you absolutely have to be authentic. And I think we talk a lot about this when it comes to like marketing and sales. You have to be authentic. You have to show up as who you are so that your community, your tribe, your ideal client can, self-identify and say, yes, we're supposed to work together. I need to learn from you. But that's the same when it comes to building business relationships. If you don't show up in an authentic space, you can't build a relationship with anybody. And this is personal or professional. But in business relationships, you don't know if it's going to be a win-win situation if you don't even know who you are and the other person doesn't know who you are. So you absolutely have to be authentic when you show up and start to build this business relationship. The other thing I think that has been helpful for me is that when you identify somebody you want to build that business relationship with, that you talk about, shared goals. Like, what do you want from this relationship? Some business relationships, they end up being a mentor-mentee situation, and that's fine. Some businesses, relationships, you're collaborating. Others, you're just kind of picking each other's brains and you're helping each other build their business, and you're showing up how you can to support. But to talk about kind of what you're looking for so that you make sure that it's a win-win. If you're expecting one thing and they're expecting somebody else and they show up and they're like, ooh, why aren't you doing this? And you're like, well, I didn't know that that's what you wanted. It could go badly, and you don't want anything in business to go badly if you can help it. So make sure that you share goals and what you're kind of looking for out of this relationship. The other thing is that you really want to develop a mutual respect. And what I mean by that is you want to observe people doing what they do, and they want to observe you doing what you do. And you want to make sure that that person is credible, and they want to make sure that you're credible. And so that when you join together, you already have this mutual respect. A lot of times, especially with social media, which has been really great for businesses and building relationships, you can stalk them on Twitter. You can watch them on Facebook. You can kind of see how they show up. So you already know this person really knows what they're talking about, or they're really good at this aspect of business. And I think that I can add to that in some kind of way. And so going to going to conferences or networking events and really seeing how people, show up is a big part of targeting. Well, I shouldn't say targeting because that sounds like prey, but intentionally deciding you want to build a relationship with somebody. The other thing is, I think being vulnerable has been a really big bonus. I think that while I talked about social media being so great before, one of the big drawbacks I think of social media is everybody looks perfect. So everybody is doing great in their business. Everybody is succeeding. Nobody's having any challenges. And as we all know, if we're being totally honest, that's just not true. And so being open and being vulnerable when you're sharing things, I think is really a big deal. And it allows the other person to be open and honest about where they are too. Because if we're not asking for support and we're not saying, hey, I'm having trouble with this, how can anybody help? And part of having a solid business relationship is having support and being supporting. So you have to be vulnerable in this relationship. Thank you, April. April says things the way I would not say them, but they mean the same thing. And so I had a conversation with a person earlier today, and that's one of the things that he, at the end of the conversation, he was like, wow, I was really able to open up about this, and it's not something that I normally do, and especially in this type of a conversation. But if we don't, then we just isolate ourselves even further in an isolating business. Being an entrepreneur can be extremely isolating at times, and then you don't feel the support, so you want to be vulnerable. The other thing, and this is one of the things that I kind of have a beef with, is there's no loyalty anymore. There's no loyalty in these business relationships. You've got to make sure that if you're building a relationship with somebody, a business relationship, that they know that you've got their back. So that you're not just with them because they are the hottest thing out there right now. They are, they are landing all the deals. They are launching all the programs. But that you really want something lasting. I mean, it's like a real relationship. You don't want to be in a relationship with anybody that you know is going to leave at the first sign of trouble. And that's the same thing with business relationships. That doesn't mean that, if April and I are, that we go together and we're the only ones that can play in the sandbox. I mean, obviously you build relationships with other people, but you do want to be the supportive, loyal business relationship, and that you're there if they need anything, and that they know that you're going to be there no matter what. And I think that that's really important. The second thing, this is the sixth thing. You want to make sure that you qualify these business relationships. And we talked about that a little bit before. But the reason that I'm reiterating that in this point is because a lot of us open up, when we build a relationship, we end up opening up our network to these relationships. So, you promote other people's stuff, you may collaborate, you may offer, bring your tribe to an event, whatever it may be. So you want to make sure that you are making meaningful connections and qualifying the connections so that you have no issue in opening up, and there are no issues once you've opened up your community. Oh, April. The other thing is to get personal, right? So business relationships are good, but you really can't have a fully rounded, balanced relationship with anything if it's always about business. So you want to make sure that you're going out to coffee. You want to make sure that you're doing things that make it more personal. I was talking earlier about how we have creating these complete online relationships, and we never have like a face-to-face discussion or a phone discussion. And I'm guilty of that at times too, because even though I love to talk, I don't always like to talk on the phone. But you really have to do, you have to take time to really build these personal relationships. And one thing about April and I have been friends. We've been playing in the sandbox together probably for about 4 or 5 years now. And we did all of this. Like, she stalked me on Twitter, and then I stalked her on Twitter, and then, she came to Dallas. She lives in Oklahoma. She came to Dallas, and we had a meal together, and we talked about goals, and, we kind of gave people, our impressions of each other's business, which was eye-opening for me. And, it's become a friendship, but you really have got to take the time. I don't like talking on the phone at all. You really have got to take the time in order to build that. And there are times when I'm like, I've totally fallen off the radar, and April will send me a text like, okay, what's going on? Where are you? And hopefully she feels the same way about me, that I'll be there if she needs anything in a pinch. But you really have to take the time to do that. It really takes time to build that relationship. So get more personal, have fun together, travel, go on vacation, so much of our lives is consumed by business as entrepreneurs. I mean, I wake up thinking about it. I go to bed thinking about it. I do all sorts of things. And so really doing fun things together to further build that relationship is a phenomenal thing. I say number 9, let go of expectations. Do not go into this thinking that, somebody is going to build your business for you or this or that. Really go into it with an open mind. I think some beautiful opportunities will come out of that, probably more than your mind could even expect. something beautiful is going to come out of that. And so really let go of the expectations and really just go into it with an open mind. Yeah, we are more fun when we're not working. Go into it with an open mind and really be ready. And then this is one of my most favorite things about having powerful business relationships. Because as I said earlier, as entrepreneurs, we really get wrapped up in what we're doing. And so bringing in other fresh minds that are not operating in your business day to day can be really beneficial. So my number 10 tip is to always actively schedule brainstorming sessions. So, they may say, okay, I'm about to launch a new product. I have a program that I want to create. Can we sit down and talk about it and really set some time to brainstorm? April and I have done that several times. Let's just figure this out. And we don't do it without, we don't do it with expectations. I mean, I know if I call somebody, they'll come. I know if I call April, she'll be there, just like I'll be there. But I don't really expect it. But I just know it because I've sewn into this relationship, into this business relationship. And that leads me to the bonus. So I'm going to go through 10, and then I'm going to go through them really quickly, and then I'm going to give you the bonus. So the first one was be authentic. Number 2 was identify your goals, your shared goals. 3, develop that mutual respect so you know where everybody's coming from. As you say, show them your resume. Number 4, share your vulnerability. Share your challenges. Be really open and human and honest about where you are. Be loyal. That's number 5. Make those meaningful connections so that you are confident in introducing your business relationship to your tribe. Get more personal. Go out for coffee, have dinner, have breakfast, brunch, whatever it is you do. Go to the spa. April and I have been to the spa together. Do all that. Plan something fun. Travel. If you're going to a networking conference together, take some time to go out to the club. Have a margarita. Do all of that. Let go of expectations. That's number 8. No, that's number 9. And 10 is schedule some brainstorming time. And then my big bonus, and this really is, probably if you just do this, everything will kind of fall into place, is offer something before asking for something. So always show up ready to give, ready to serve, ready to, pitch in. I mean, I've gone to conferences and I sat at the door and took admission or registered people, just because that's what we do for people in our tribe. And so always be ready to give before you expect to receive. And so those are kind of my tips for business relationships, because if you are an entrepreneur and you have not learned by now, or in any kind of profession really, if you haven't learned by now that it is all about relationships, then we have to talk. So it really is all about relationships and how you leverage them in life in general, but really in business. And I think that once we learn how to do it right, we'll see a lot more success in where we're trying to go, because you really cannot do it by yourself. So this is probably going to be the last discussion I have for a while on, the successful mindset. So I want to make sure that you get my success planner. It's a year-long planner, and it's what I use in my business, and I think it'll help you structure some things in order to have greater success in whatever you're doing. And you can get that at blessmenikki.com. blessmenikki.com. Just go there, you sign up, send it right to you. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking more about press releases, because I talked about that before I went on vacation, and I got so many inbox messages about the press release. So we are going to demystify the press release tomorrow. All right, so go to blessmenikki.com. The success guide will go away at midnight tonight, so if you don't get it, that's it. And tomorrow we are talking about press releases. April, I love you. Thank you for letting me use you. I also want to say thank you to Ebony, B, Nisi, and Taylor for showing up on my Facebook Live while I was on vacation to keep the tips coming. So I love you. blessmenikki.com, and tomorrow it is press releases. You guys have a great day.